Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Merry Christmas to all. Welcome to AMS Live. My name is Boy. It is Boxing Day and we are standing alongside the Buitenvelderbaan, runway 0927, where we can see approaching KLM flight 1414 coming in from Lyon, an Embraer 175. And there's also another plane behind it. Right, just about on the left side of the field of view. It's quite windy today. Wind is blowing from the west. Hence landings take place on runway 27 today, so that the pilots are facing more or less straight headwind without any crosswind. There were some rain showers earlier this morning and also last night. But at the moment it's dry, and the forecast for today is that it's going to stay dry, just windy. Still not very cold. It's approximately 7 or 8 degrees Celsius, which is, I think, 45, 50 Fahrenheit-ish. The plane we see approaching now, Aegean Airlines, coming in from Athens, an Airbus A321, brand new, was delivered in May this year. For some reason my camera finds it hard to focus on it. Shiny new. When it was landing, you could see that despite the headwind, they still have to make some corrections. It is gusty. It's not a full-blown storm, but it's definitely more windy than the day before Christmas, when I was filming at the Polderbaan. For the time being, the Alsmeerbaan is the Buitenvelderbaan. I'm sorry. This runway is the main landing runway. Let me have a quick look. We can see a flight from Billund coming in, KLM flight 1342, an Embraer. Let me turn around the camera quickly so we can also see it. And let me see, behind it on the left hand side you can just about see the landing lights. Is the next plane, which is another Embraer, an Embraer 190, also from KLM, coming in from Frankfurt. and behind it we have a 737 coming in from Munich. So let me quickly turn around the camera. And the Aegean A321 on the left hand side taxiing to the gate. Hey guys, Ronaldo, Jose, Merry Christmas to you guys. Welcome to the show. It's beginning to look a lot like, well, Christmas now. Yeah, also the day before yesterday's stream, the number of Embraers is already quite high. I hope the sound is a bit decent, because we are removed from the runway a bit further than when you're standing at the Polderbaan or at the beginning of the Kaagbaan. If the volume is not loud enough, let me know in the comments, then I can adjust it. Although the wind noise will also be louder then. I can see some new people flocking in to watch the stream. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're viewing from. Welcome to AMS Live. My name is Boy. Merry Christmas to all. This Boxing Day stream from the keep saying Aalsmeerbaan, it's the Buitenvelderbaan, runway 0927. And come on, camera, focus. Sometimes it's stubborn. So we're standing alongside runway 0927, which today is in use in the western direction. Wind is coming from the west. It's quite windy, not stormy, but definitely windy. A few gusts here and there. So using the current runway ensures that the pilots will be facing headwind without much crosswind, although the wind is varying in direction, but mostly coming from the west. We're near the McDonald's, as you can see, the official spotters location. I decided to walk a bit further down the runway towards the touchdown zone. Now we have to wait for the next plane. Let me check flight radar, see what's coming. Seems that a couple of planes are now landing in northern direction, which would be a pity if they changed the runway and were caught off guard. That's always the thing with Schiphol, with so many runways. You never know for sure where the next plane is going to land. Although, based on the direction of the wind, you would say that this would be the runway of choice for landings. We are seeing a few flights coming in on flight radar. That are now over the Flevoland province. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not they are going to land on this runway or if they're going to fly further south and will be landing in northern direction on one of the north-south oriented runways. As you can see, this plane at least will be landing on the Alsmeerbaan, probably the middle of the north-south runways. KLM 747, one of the cargo planes. Are we able to see it any further? I think probably not. Oh yeah, there it is. Let's have another quick look at flight radar. I think there are two planes approaching this runway. KLM flight 1142, operated by KLM Cityhopper, coming in from Oslo. That's an Embraer 175. And behind it there is KLM 1822 coming in from Berlin. 737-800. 22 years old. The Embraer in front of it, probably a bit younger, yeah, is 6 years old. So various runways in use at the moment. Despite the wind coming in predominantly from the west, it is typically Schiphol that they also use runways that are almost 90 degrees oriented differently. Yeah, wind is still prevailing from the west, 280 degrees, 14 knots. So I'll have to wait and see where the other planes are going to land. I can see that a 737 from KLM coming in from Birmingham is currently ready to land on the Alsmeerbaan. Do I see it visually? Not yet. Oh yeah, I think I do. Let me see if I can also capture it for you guys while we're still waiting. for the other planes to arrive. I think I also see the first one approaching. See the landing lights. So I will be turning the camera to the left shortly. For now, this plane is better visible. So with Schiphol, it's always a bit of a gamble which runways will be used. It's not always as logical as you might think, and it can change rather quickly. So hopefully we will be seeing some more action from the Buitenvelderbaan where we are currently standing at. For now, there are two planes approaching. Here's number one. You can just make out the landing lights on the left. It's number two. It is another Embraer. Also quickly change the iris settings on the camera because the sun is starting to come out, as you just now saw, which provides more light. We'll have to make sure that everything remains visible properly. I thought I'd made out just another plane crossing our field of view. Probably also lining up to land on this runway. Merry Christmas, Kurdistan News Sticker. Welcome to the show. Welcome all the other viewers that have joined us in the meantime. Welcome to AMS Live. Merry Christmas to all. It is Boxing Day. We are standing alongside runway 27, which is currently used for landing, although not entire. It's not the main runway anymore, or should I say the only runway in use for landing. At the moment there are two planes that are appearing to prepare for landing on the runway we are standing at. First will be KLM flight 1740 coming in from Luxembourg, another Embraer, 4 years old, and by the looks of it, Air France, another Embraer coming in from Rennes, is probably next. This plane 12 years old. Then there's also another Embraer coming in from Göteborg. So no heavies just yet. Only Embraers. It's a recurring theme. Let me show you the first plane that is on its way. Slowly but surely the sun is coming out. It's about 7 or 8 degrees centigrade, so 45 to 50-ish Fahrenheit. Using this runway, the pilots are facing direct headwind, not a lot of crosswind. It is a bit gusty, it is a bit windy, but nothing out of the ordinary. So no spectacular crabbing today, unfortunately. The downside of this location is that the sun is directly facing me. It's directly behind the runway, so planes passing in front of us are badly lit because the sun is right behind it, unfortunately. That's just because of the time of day and part of the time of year. The sun is also not very high above the horizon, so it's providing a bit of backlight. Another Embraer. For now it's still only Embraers. We'll have to wait for some heavies. Don't see them on flight radar just yet, so we'll have to make do with what is available. And that's a lot of Embraers. This is Air France coming in from Rennes. You might be able to hear some fireworks set off in the distance. Schiphol scarecrows, of course, always on guard to prevent bird strikes. So there is one plane just over Amsterdam southeast, coming in from Gothenburg, another city hopper, another Embraer, 12 years old. There's also an EasyJet A320 from Brussels coming this way, 3 years old. Brussels, of course, so nearby. YouTube fan, good morning still, yeah. Merry Christmas to you too. And everybody who has joined us in the meantime, welcome. Happy Boxing Day, Merry Christmas to all. My name is Boy, this is AMS Live. We're standing alongside the Buitenvelderbaan, runway 27. The wind is coming from the west. And you would think that all of the traffic would be landing on the runway facing the direction of the wind the most, which would be this runway. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So we're only seeing part of the arriving traffic, at least for now. Merry Christmas, Alex. Good day to you too. So all the arriving traffic is now divided between this runway and runway, I think it's 36 Center, the Aalsmeerbaan. So unfortunately not every plane is coming over here. So we have the Embraer from KLM from Gothenburg, and after that the A320 from EasyJet from coming in from Brussels. And after that, I think we might have to wait a little bit. So although it is windy, it is dry. It's approximately 7 or 8 degrees centigrade. I think it's 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. No more rain predicted for today. In fact, the sun was supposed to come out gradually during the day, and we're witnessing that right now. You can see it providing the backlight as the planes are right in front of us. Unfortunately, that's the downside of this location. The next plane is also in view, so let me quickly turn around the camera so we can capture it. So this would be the A320 from EasyJet coming in from Brussels. Just a very short flight. I think the next plane is probably going to be Ryanair flight 5505 coming in from Dublin, which is now passing Zaandam, just north of Amsterdam in easterly direction. So it's on the downwind leg of the traffic pattern. Still at 7,000 feet, so has to set in its final descent. So it's probably still 5 or 10 minutes out. this EasyJet coming in from Brussels, which is one of the shortest flights possible, I think. Frankfurt is also relatively short, but I think Brussels is even shorter. They cannot even climb these planes when they do these flights. They cannot even fly at their regular cruising altitude by the time they are at 15 or 20,000 feet. I think they still manage to get to 20,000 or so, but then they already have to start their descent already. When you think about it, it's really strange that these flights are actually taking place when there are also other modes of transportation available. If you also factor in the time it takes for a person to get to the airplane, the airport, to check in, check out, etc. Oh well. Hallo Keenan. Hopelijk spreek ik dat goed uit. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Welcome to the show. Welcome everybody who has joined us in the meantime. Welcome to AMS Live. It's Boxing Day. We're standing along runway 27, where today landings are in progress. There are a few planes I can see approaching, all coming in from the west. If you look at flight radar, you can see them all pass above Amsterdam to the Markermeer and then follow a right-hand traffic pattern to land. You can see KLM flight 604 coming in from LAX. You can also see a Gulfstream, which, if not landing on runway 27, will land on runway 22, which is also in our field of view, so we should be able to capture that one. Furthermore, we have, as I said earlier, the first one to approach will most likely be Ryanair flight 5505 coming in from Dublin. This plane 11 years old, and there's an Embraer coming after that, coming in from Newcastle. One of the newer types with the big engines. Then number 3 will be the Gulfstream, which we'll see land, where we have a good view on the runway and also on the general aviation platform, which is on the east side of the main platform area. Behind the Gulfstream there's an A319 coming in from Belfast, another EasyJet, and then number, what is it? 2, 3, 4, number 5 will most likely be a Dreamliner, one of the big Dreamliners, the 787-10, flight 604, KLM 604, coming in from LAX. The Dreamliner was delivered in June 2019, so 3 years old. Let me quickly turn around the camera. We have some approaching planes in view. It's going to pick up, and we don't want to miss it. flight radar did not pick up this little private jet. Now I'm not that knowledgeable, so I cannot make out the type. You can see it bang to the left, so it's basically doing an approach for 27, then make a left-hand turn, and you'll be seeing it land on runway 22, which is the small Oostbaan runway, where also the general aviation platform is situated, and all the private jets have their parking. Unfortunately, folks, I'm unable to zoom in any further than this. It's a really small plane in the distance. Anybody who is knowledgeable about private jets, let us know. What are we looking at? I know some names, but I wouldn't recognize one of them if they were in front of me. So don't ask me to make out a Learjet from one of the other private jets. So this would be Ryanair 5505, if I recall from memory, coming in from Dublin. Ryanair, the subject of memes regarding their landings, as you probably know. So let's see how these pilots do, and whether or not the memes are justified. Moment of truth, people. That doesn't look too bad. That definitely seemed like a normal landing to me. Right, let's turn around the camera. The next one is also visible. So what are we looking at? This would be the Embraer from Newcastle, the Embraer 195 from KLM. And behind it there's a Gulfstream 6 coming in from London Luton. Private owner, Gulfstream G650, and 4 years old. Behind it is an A319, and behind it is the Dreamliner from LAX, coming in from LAX. So this is the new Embraer, the 195, with the higher bypass engines. You can see how big these engines are compared to the other Embraers we've seen earlier today. Okay, let me quickly turn around the camera because the other planes are also becoming visible. Can just about make out the landing lights. So this, the first one, number one, visible on the right, is the Gulfstream. So I'm thinking it's probably going to make a similar left-hand turn and land on runway 22. This being runway 27 that we're standing alongside. It is a bit gusty, so the camera sometimes shakes a little. Well, is it going to turn? I think it might be landing on 27. It is. Cool. We're in luck, people. We don't get to see private jets land up close that often on Schiphol, at least not from the usual spotting areas, because they typically land on the short runway number 22, like the one earlier. No, that's number one. Okay, let me quickly turn around the camera. It's back-to-back traffic now, for as long as it lasts. There it is. So this is KLM flight 604 coming in from LAX. This is the Dreamliner 787-10, biggest in the fleet. In the celebratory 100 years KLM livery. Magnificent plane. Right, I'm going to turn around the camera. I see some landing lights in the distance. Although I have to check flight radar first to see what's coming. Let's see. First up, an Embraer 190 KLM flight 1856 coming in from Düsseldorf. This plane 10 years old. Behind it, Delta Airlines 162 coming in from Minneapolis. It's an A330-300. And that one is 19 years old, from 2003. Behind the Delta 330, we have a 777 coming in from Guangzhou, China Southern Cargo. The cargo plane 13 years old. So let me quickly put away the phone, make sure that we can capture all the action. I see we have a lot more viewers. Everybody who just joined us, welcome. Welcome to AMS Live. Merry Christmas. This is number one, number two, this is number one. My name is Boy, and we are standing alongside runway 27 for arrivals on Boxing Day. The wind is coming from the west, so the pilots are facing headwind without much crosswind. You can still see that they have to put in some corrections, but they're not crabbing as heavily as when there's serious crosswind. Although it's windy, it's dry. It's about 7-8 degrees Celsius or 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, if you're familiar with Fahrenheit. So this would be the A330 coming in from Minneapolis. Still some spray on the runway from the showers we had this morning and last night, although it is drying up quickly with the wind. So here we have the China Southern Cargo Airlines, the freighter 777 coming in from China, Guangzhou, if I pronounce that somewhat properly. We're standing a bit further from the runway than when we're standing alongside Polderbound, so I hope that the sound is still decent. If it's not hard enough, let me know. I can change it a little bit. Sound good, picture great. Thanks for the feedback, Norman. And good day to you. Okay, so let me see what's coming up next. We have some narrow bodies coming in. First would be KLM flight 1188 from Bergen, which is an Embraer 190, and behind it is Transavia 6602 coming in from Innsbruck, Austria. Some winter sport enthusiasts probably coming back from their skiing trip. Behind it is KLM flight 1008 coming in from London Heathrow. That's a 737, and I think after that another Embraer from KLM coming in from Edinburgh. So we'll have to make do with some narrow bodies for the time being, but I do see some wide bodies underway. Let me see, there's a 767 coming in from Miami from LATAM Cargo, now flying downwind, and there's also another A330 coming in from Miami from KLM. Let me put away my phone and make sure that we are capturing the action. First jet is almost touching down, so where is it? There it is. Make sure you guys don't miss it. Okay, let me turn around the camera for the next plane. Where is it? There it is. This would be the Transavia, if I'm not mistaken. And for some reason my camera sometimes has difficulty focusing on the planes when they're still in the distance. Is it making a turn? It's probably going to land on runway 24 by the looks of it. Oh, this is not a missed approach, but this is similar to what we saw earlier with the private jet, only it banged to the left and was going to land on runway 22, and this plane now following the approach for 27 and then banking to the left and landing on 24. Another variation on the same theme. Okay, let's see if this plane will do the same or if it's going to land on 27. Wind is still coming from the west. This is the runway facing headwind the most. But as I said earlier, with Schiphol you never know. Runway use is not always in line with what you would logically think. This one does seem to be landing on 27. Right, next plane is coming up. Let me quickly turn around. Yeah. Hey. This one is a bit high. Is it doing a missed approach? No, it seems to be turning. Still high. Okay, so this one also seems to be landing on runway 24. I'm also looking to my left because I think I'm going to switch to the left again because I don't want to miss what I think is Emirates Super, our daily flight from Dubai coming in. And you'll probably forgive me for not following the other plane and focusing on this one. Unfortunately, Schiphol doesn't see a lot of A380s anymore. So anytime you get the chance to get one in view, savor the moment. So this is probably Emirates flight 147. Didn't have time to check flight radar, but this must be it. 2 days ago we had a special livery. Not sure if this one has one too. We'll see soon enough. So, runway got a free clean with those reversers. Mind you, there are only 2 of them. So that was the biggest jet we'll be seeing during this stream. After that, it's only small planes, relatively speaking. Haven't had the time yet to look at Flight Radar to see what's coming up next. I have no idea what this plane, where it's coming from. After this plane has landed, I'll quickly have a look to see what's coming up. Is this the 767 from LATAM Cargo? I think it might be. I think it is. Mind you, I'm looking at a small screen on my camera, of course. Okay guys, there is quite some traffic underway. 2 737s, 2 A330s, a Dreamliner coming in from Minneapolis. Plenty of action. And we can still see the Emirates Super taxiing to the gate. I'll turn around the camera in a few seconds because the next plane is also... The next two planes are already visible, but they're still in the distance. For those of you joining us just now, welcome to AMS Live. My name is Boy. Merry Christmas to all. It's Boxing Day and we are standing alongside runway 27, where arriving traffic is landing. The sun is coming out. It's dry. There were some rain showers earlier this morning. But the forecasts are good. The remainder of the day it's going to stay dry, albeit windy, as you can probably hear. Wind is blowing from the west, gusty. So with runway 27, pilots are facing headwind dead on, hardly any crosswind. You can see it is windy. They still have to make some corrections. Right, let me quickly turn around because I think I see an A330. Meanwhile, another plane taking off from runway 24. And the next plane about to land on 27 is becoming visible, so let me turn around the camera so you guys can enjoy it as well. There we go. And on the left hand side you can see the next plane also approaching. Things are picking up again. Earlier it seemed that there was also another runway in use for landing, the Alsmeerbaan or 36 Center, but it seems that once again runway 27 is the sole runway in use for landing, which is good, so we get to see everything and we have front row seats, so our Schiphol scarecrows are also busy patrolling, making sure that our planes can land safely. No birds get caught in engines. 2 days ago when I was streaming from the Polderbaan, we got to see some fireworks. Not so much today. I only heard one of them earlier today, and it was far away on the other side of the airfield. So if you hear a bang, it might be the bird controller chasing away some birds, but I have to say I haven't seen a lot of birds today yet. Unlike 2 days ago at the Polderbaan, there were many birds there. Another 737 from Transavia. What comes next? Another Airbus A330 by the looks of it. You can see how the sun is coming out and it is illuminating the left hand side of the airplane. Unfortunately, it also provides some backlight, which makes the plane poorly visible when it passes us by, but I'd rather take the sun than rain any day. Let me quickly have a look at flight radar and see what is coming. Ah, Servus, Pepi Pietel aus Innsbruck. Now, I mentioned earlier how Schiphol, you never know what they'll do in terms of runway usage with the wind prevailing from the west, but it seems that now the Polderbaan is also being used to land. And I see most of the planes that are approaching flying towards the Polderbaan. If that is the case, then we won't be seeing any landing traffic anymore anytime soon. That's always a risk. I will be staying around for a bit longer to see what's going to happen. But for now, it seems that all the planes are heading towards the Polderbaan. Which is funny because an hour ago the Polderbaan was used for departures and now it's used for landings, at least a couple. Grüß Gott, Behrensaft aus Düsseldorf. Welcome to the stream. And all the other people as well, welcome. This must be a bit disappointing for those of you who just tuned in, because at the moment the planes that are arriving are landing on Polderbaan or runway 18 right, and they don't seem to be landing on 27 anymore, where we are currently standing at. We'll have to wait a bit, see if things pick up again. The wind hasn't changed that much, so let me see, I think I can see a plane departing on runway 24. So there's a lot of action, but not right here, right now. I can still see all the arriving airplanes flying towards the Polderbaan. So that is not looking good. There are also some departures taking place from the Alsmeerbaan by the looks of it. Let me see. Although we're not situated ideally over here, we are able to see it from the distance. Let me at least have a look and see. Was that just the occasional airplane? It's not, because in the distance we can see this plane departing, and I think the Turkish Dreamliner is also about to take off from the Alsmeerbaan. So not ideal where we're currently standing at, but we are able to at least see a couple take off. I was hoping for some more arrivals on the runway 27. But we will be able to see the Dreamliner from Turkish depart. Spray beautifully lit by the sunlight. I think another big jet is preparing to take off. So while there aren't any landing planes on runway 27, we are still able to see a few planes take off from one 8 left. Let me quickly turn around the camera because I think another one is about to line up. Have to make the best of it, right? Hopefully in a few moments we will be seeing some landing aircraft on 27, but I'm not sure anymore. Runway 27 is always a secondary runway. But we are fortunate enough to be located at a location where we can also see this runway. I think before the Dreamliner departs, we'll see this little plane take off first. So unfortunately I'm unable to zoom in any further than this. But I can make out that it's an LL 737. Haven't had the time yet to look at flight radar. Most likely it's going to take off to somewhere in Israel, Tel Aviv probably. Let me see if I can quickly have a look at flight radar. So yeah, this is LL 338 departing to Tel Aviv. 13 years old, this plane. And the 777-200 we saw earlier, that is at the threshold, will be departing to Delhi. And is 18 years old. Let me pan to the left so that we can see the El Al plane. So we're still waiting for the LL 737. Ah, okay. Yeah. First this plane takes off. Not ideal this location because don't have the overview that I would be having a bit further down the road, but for now this will do. Can make out that this is another Embraer. You can see it's struggling with the wind. This plane, of course, departing in the southern direction, and there's crosswind from the right. Let's see, I thought I saw another one depart. So these planes taking off now are taking off headed south, and wind is coming in from the west, so crosswind from the right. You can now see that the El Al is taking off. So those of you just tuning in, welcome. What you're seeing is airplanes departing, and initially the stream was about landing airplanes. However, for now, the runway we are currently standing at, runway 27, is not used for landings anymore. So what we're looking at from a bit of a distance is departing traffic taking off from runway 18 left. Even though the prevailing wind is coming from the west, I haven't had the time yet in the last couple of minutes to check flight radar to see if any landing traffic is underway or if they're still all going to the Polderbaan or runway 18 right. You can see the crosswind, you can see how they have to correct for the crosswind. So it's not an ideal location for departing traffic, but we can definitely see some of it. So this KLM 777-200 is flying to Delhi, if I'm not mistaken, if I recall correctly. And I can see some more traffic about to take off. First, check this out, an A350, which we will be seeing depart shortly. If we pan to the threshold, there's a 737, and we can see just behind it an EasyJet A320, A319, not sure yet. Let me see. Quickly check flight radar. So inbound traffic is still landing on the Polderbaan, so we're caught off guard in that respect. The A350 that is going to take off shortly from Cathay Pacific will be flying to Hong Kong. It's a new plane, 1 year old. So next up will be the EasyJet and Cathay Pacific will be number 2 after that. Right, let's quickly turn around the camera because the 350 from Cathay Pacific is looking to depart shortly. Of course, being a big plane and the previous one not that big, the wake turbulence will be gone relatively soon. After it takes off, it's probably going to take a turn to the left, headed east. Lovely backdrop of clouds illuminated by the sky, by the sun in the sky. Meanwhile, the wind seems to be picking up. It's definitely not slowing down. Let's see what goes on the platform area. And let me also have a look at Flight Radar in the meantime. So those of you just joining us, welcome. Initially this was supposed to be a stream where we would look at all the landing traffic. Unfortunately, the runway use has changed. It's still the polderbaan that is being used for landing traffic at the moment, where it was the Buitenvelderbaan or runway 27 before. So we're caught off guard basically. I don't see anything changing anytime soon. If I look at Flight Radar, all of the arriving traffic seems to be lining up for runway 18 right or the polderbaan. So the only thing we can look at from over here, and that's, we're lucky with that, is that some of the departures are taking place from 18 left or the Aalsmeerbaan, as well as runway 24, the Kaagbaan. The planes that are taking off from 18 left, we are able to track from over here. So the stream has changed from arrivals to departures for now. And I don't know how many airplanes are still due to take off from 18 left. There's one at the moment about to line up. Aegean flight 3625 flying to Athens, which is an Airbus A321. So let me put away my phone. beautifully illuminated. Well, let me have one last look at flight radar, see what the current status is. I think our luck has run out. I see all the departing planes lining up for runway 24, and we're too far away to properly capture that. There are no more planes about to take off from runway 18 left. The arriving airplanes that I currently see on flight radar are all flying towards or landing on the Polderbaan. So unfortunately, I think I have no other choice than to prematurely end the stream for today, because there is no use sticking around if we're standing at the wrong runway. So for those of you who have joined me today, thank you so much for tuning in again. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to give this stream a thumbs up if you haven't done so already. If you want to stay updated of upcoming streams, consider subscribing. I hope to be back again later this week. But for now, I think this concludes today's stream. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Enjoy Boxing Day. Be safe. Take care. And see you soon. Bye for now.